Hello, and welcome back to another episode of hashtag Screw the W2. And today's guest, I actually have met in person. This was about 4 years ago down in Memphis, Tennessee. My wife and I were doing a road trip, but today I have on Allison Holden, who kind of brings on an interesting story of, well, how I met her, obviously, and what she's been up to over the last year or two. But with that, Allison, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, John. I'm excited to be here. Nice to
Thanks
see
for
you again.
Yeah, he was well, or C based on Zoom technology nowadays. So, but now, Allison, obviously, we've known each other for a while, but for my listeners, that don't know you, have never, heard of you. Can you take us back to your, previous W-2 job? What was it? What was a, normal day like, so to speak?
Absolutely. So I worked for a turnkey investment real estate company here in Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay.
John knows well. I'm sure a few of your listeners probably know us as well.
Yeah.
And I worked with investors like John, a day in and day out. I was in sales, and it was a fantastic job. I loved it. It was an invaluable education.
Mhm.
I'm now a realtor.
Okay.
So yeah, it's kind of a normal transition, I guess, from real estate to real estate.
Sure. Yeah,
But
no, makes
I was
sense.
there for 7 years. So
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Wow. All right. And obviously, you're a realtor now, but was with the prior company before for 7 years. But what was, or maybe was there a number of I got to get out of here moments, or I need to do something different, or what was kind of that change of I need to, maybe whether it was become a realtor or just become self-employed, so to speak.
Yeah. This was, you talk about the rat race and kind of the W-2 life. I mean, this was probably the hardest type of W-2 job to leave
Okay.
because there was so much flexibility. I mean, my boss was my friend. We'd been friends for
Hmm.
years before I started there. You know her well. And I mean, we would have Wednesday meetings, and our meetings would be like sitting in our hot tub, drinking a margarita, like shooting the shit.
Yeah.
So when you talk about like, feeling like an urge to leave, I mean, it was a very difficult, in fact, probably the toughest decision of my career to decide to
Okay.
leave. And I had a lot of doubt and a lot of fear, but we'll get to that. But I had a health event in January of last year that, as they always say, it really opened my eyes to
Mm.
what I wanted in life.
Sure.
And and so that really prompted me to take a look at my stress levels, um, where I was headed, my age. I mean, just things like that I just had to make a tough decision to let some things go in my life.
Hmm.
And one of them was my job.
Gotcha.
And you know, I I'm very grateful for it now, and I wouldn't change anything. But at the time, it's true what they say. I think it's something like the first step that you take into the life of your dreams. Fear will be the first one there to greet you.
Yep, exactly.
And it was true. And at the time when I decided to leave, really my mind was just like, I just need an income. I need some kind
Mhm.
of income to be able to exit, this job. And um, so I went and got a job at a school for a second, and just I had been doing that previous to working with the company. So I thought,
Okay.
well, that'll just get me out. That'll just get
Sure.
me
Yep.
out of the job. And very quickly, I realized it's very difficult to go backward. Um, People would be like, "Can you fax this for me?" And I was like,
What's a
yeah."
fax?
Yeah, I was like, what? So that immediately was like, this is not going to be a fit for me. And then it kind of just, I had this aha moment where I was like, why am I going to forsake all of this real estate knowledge that I've learned over seven
Mhm.
years of experience? The natural next step would be to go to real estate school.
Right.
So I did. And by April of that year, I had my license. I had joined a fantastic brokerage that I'm still with. And by the end of last year, I'd sold over $2 million in real estate.
Wow.
Brand new realtor. So that really
Yeah.
made me feel like I was in the right place.
Yeah. And now for those listening to this, and this will be in YouTube forever, forever land. This was April of 2022, correct?
Yes, correct. Right.
Gotcha. Okay. And being in Memphis, Tennessee, I mean, I own a property down there. I know you have properties down there. This isn't like San Francisco, it's like, well, I sold one house that was, 2 million right there. I can relax for the rest of the year. This is obviously multiple transactions to get to that 2 million.
That is a very good point, John. Thank you for helping me remember that other people are listening to this, not just Memphians. Yeah, no, I think that the average house price in Memphis, I want to say, is somewhere around 251-ish,
Okay,
something like that. So these are transactions that range from 218 to 630.
gotcha.
Yeah.
So, okay, sounds good. So then, you kind of had your, like you said, your health event, January 2022, had your license, or got your license, excuse me, 3 months later. And then within 8 months, $2 million in transactions. And then, as far as 2023, how's the business been going? Is it still steady, growing even more, or what's your plans with the following year here?
Yeah, I've told my husband, which by the way, I should give a shout out. I couldn't have done any of this without my husband. So kudos, I mean, massive kudos to anyone that's contemplating taking the leap from W-2 to 1099 without a partner or a spouse to support
Hmm.
them. I would be relatively homeless, probably living with my parents without my spouse. So Josh, thank you, love you. But yeah, so this year has started amazing.
Good.
I have $1 million in contracts under contract right now that should close
Wow.
next week. And then I've got a few buyers that I'm hunting with right now. And so things are steady, things are good.
Okay, sounds good. Now when you, I'm guessing it's been about 13 months now, but do you remember back, like, when was your, I know you said for you it was your hardest thing to leave, but when was your last, in this case, your last day of a guaranteed paycheck, so to speak?
Oh, yeah. Oh man. That one hurt. That hurt. It was probably, I want to say it was sometime in April of 2022 when I had my
Gotcha.
last
Okay.
paycheck from the school that I had just paused at for a second, deciding next steps. Yeah.
Sure.
Uh, it wasn't much, but
Yeah.
I was getting paid weekly at the investment company. And
Oh,
so
really? Okay. I didn't know that.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, it was just, and I'll tell you, I'll just be transparent with everyone that's going to see this. Am probably not the best steward of money, probably not the most financially savvy person. I'm a if I want it, I want it. Ooh, I have $50 in my account. All right, I'll spend 34. So this has been such a good lesson for me in financial
Mhm.
literacy and long-term planning. I mean, it's just, I feel like I've grown up a ton in the last year.
Sure. No, it makes sense. And yeah, everyone has a different past, when it comes to money, and some people can, I don't know, live lavishly on $20,000 a year, and then you hear about those people that are making six figures and are barely making ends meet, and it's like, how is that possible? But
Yeah,
that's another
yeah,
discussion.
totally me.
So now you've kind of alluded to this a little bit, but any, like, generally speaking, and I'll kind of just focus on the investment company. Uh any regrets from leaving, or anything you wish, like, gosh, I wish I didn't leave, or anything you miss about the previous W-2 lifestyle?
No.
Okay.
Short answer, no. I think that everything has played out just as it should have. Someone stepped into my role as I was leaving that I think would be a great fit. I think some good fresh energy there. Um, as you know, a lot of what I did was, investors were checking in
Yeah.
on the place in the wait list, which is very understandable. But um, writing those same emails over and over can be a
Yeah.
little draining. Tell people, oh, it's going to be a year or, whatever. And I
Yeah.
mean, the gratitude for having that much demand for the product, of course, is there.
Yeah.
But I think it was the right time for someone
Hmm.
else to take on that role. And I think it was good for the company and good for me. And I think the biggest thing is I needed to take the leap personally and I mean, everyone that I'm sure talks about this W-2 to 1099 life that's the common theme, right? I mean, you have to take the leap and it's a lot of investing in yourself. And
Yep.
um, yeah, I think that I'm proud of myself, and that feeling of accomplishment like lends itself to creating other accomplishments.
Hmm. Yep. Just kind of snowballs from there. And
Yeah.
um, I think the nice thing, I mean, yes, it's obviously a risk, but in many ways, I don't want to say it's unlimited, but I'd say there's more potential as a 1099er versus a W-2. I mean, we've all heard stories of like, oh, I think they actually had one at Burger King. A guy who didn't miss a day of work for 27 years, and they gave him like a Reese's peanut butter cup and something else. It's like, really? That's the award for 27 years of loyalty?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, when you have big goals, or let me say this, you have big dreams.
Mm,
And I think for me, it's about turning the dreams into goals because
mhm.
there's a difference. And, we were just talking before we started recording about getting a quote for a bathroom remodel.
Yeah.
And just say, like, I mean, that was something that was a dream of mine. We moved into this house and our house is lovely. And, the primary bathroom just needs a little love. And that's
Mhm.
just something that I always thought was going to be outside of my reach.
Mhm.
And now it's not. And it's not just money. I mean, that makes me feel powerful. And I think there's something about when you feel powerful as a person, your ability to affect change, not just in your life, but in the lives of others, is elevated.
Right.
And the world needs that.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Now on the flip side, Allison, it's been a year since, or almost a year, I should say, since you went from the W-2 to the 1099. What's been the best thing about your journey, or what's the one thing that you, uh, maybe is a central thing of your life now versus before?
Um, the central, sorry, I'm got a text message and it distracted me.
Oh,
Sorry.
that's us realtors. We're
Yes,
available
I know.
24/7. Yeah,
Yeah, we're always at work. Can
exactly.
you repeat that? I'm so sorry.
Oh, sorry. So, what's been like on the flip side? What's been the best thing about your journey going from the W-2 to the 1099 world?
Oh, thank you. Yes. Gosh, that's a great question. I'll try not to talk too long on this one. Um, well, in short, community, it's something that was a word that got really stuck in my head when I left, and something that I just wanted to create for myself. I wanted community.
Okay.
Obviously, COVID hit in 2020, and um, my company was wonderful and let me work from home and let a lot of us work from home, and that was so fantastic of them. But the issue was, of course, we all sat at home all day,
Yep,
and
exactly.
even before that, I was in an office with just one other person, so it was a little isolating,
Okay.
and so I wanted community, and man, I'm telling you, when you ask the universe for something, just sit back, and I have built such an amazing community. The brokers that I'm at, I am surrounded by, I'm getting chills, just the most amazing people. You know, Realtors can think of themselves as competitors in a
Sure.
very lesser evolution of our, of who we are, but really we're a big community. And
Yep.
I think helping each other helps all of us. And
Hmm.
my brokerage and my brokers really embody that. So I'm just extremely fortunate. And then um, really just the ability to give back to my community and my friends and family, and the emphasis that I'm able to put, we'd call it sphere of influence, but to them, I mean, I'm able to send birthday cards now. I never did that. I
Sure.
didn't do it because I just was thoughtless. I was just going about my own life, and oh, it's Friday, and and now that is my job to connect.
Mhm.
So I'm getting to take friends out to coffee and lunch and just chat and how are you and what's going on. And I have a friend who lost her husband and it's her birthday this weekend and we're going to do something. And it's just little things that um, it's allowed me to focus more on that aspect of life, which just feels so, so incredible. So
Sure.
definitely
Well,
the community aspect is massive.
all right. Sounds good. Now, if Allison, for anyone out there listening, and whether it's a health issue, or they're maybe just fearful of taking the leap to something different, what words of advice would you have for anyone out there that for whatever reason just feels stuck at their job and can't or won't leave, so to speak?
Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't start with, it is a privilege. It is a privilege to be able to step away from a W-2. Um, I know that someone listening that is still at a 9 to 5 job,
Mhm.
it feels impossible. I mean, it feels like it's a pipe dream, or that it's only for the wealthy, or
Mhm.
whatever. And it's been a strain on my family. Like, I mean, it's,
Mhm.
obviously we've been able to do it, but it's caused things to be tighter. And I think that there was a sort of a no room for failure approach for me. That I mean, this is my job. I have to do this. This isn't a hobby for me. So I think that really the tenacity to research what you're going into. If you have any type of foundation in the field, obviously that's going to help you. Um, to speak to the health part just a bit, I can really understand that more than most. And I would really just open the door to anyone that would like to talk about that privately. I'm
Okay.
here, I was born with a congenital heart defect.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and so, yeah, I mean, that was the health event was I went into an arrhythmia that was, uh, I got sent to the ICU for a whole weekend. It was a whole thing.
Oh,
They had to
geez.
cardiovert me, just shock me back into sinus rhythm. So it was really life changing.
Well,
Um,
right.
and I didn't have an upset stomach. I mean, it was a really big deal.
Sure.
So, so yeah, I mean, that's a big factor. But yeah, I would just say take it step by step, create a plan, create real goals. Smaller goals are better than larger goals. So if you can say, in the next quarter, I want to do 3 transactions, and I know we're not
Sure.
just talking real estate, but anything that can create just a regimented business plan will make it feel more manageable, kind of bite by bite versus
Sure.
trying to do the whole thing at one time.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. I think can't remember who said it, but I remember the old adage of how do you eat an elephant? And the simple answer is one bite at a time. And that's always stuck
Yes,
in my head, even though it's
yes,
pretty
yes.
simplistic.
Exactly. And I think too, like fear is going to be there. I mean, no one's
Yeah.
not scared. I'm scared.
Hmm.
It's scary. So just allowing, I always tell my daughter, like, you have to feel your feelings. You can't ignore your feelings. You have to feel them. So just feel them, like accept that fear is going to be there with you as a little passenger and be like, hey, thank you for trying to protect me and keep me safe. And I appreciate you. And I'm going to do this anyway. So you can come or not. And I think that helps like train your mindset to
Sure.
be, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of I have fear as the passenger, not the driver, so to speak.
Yes, I like that. Yeah.
Cool. So as we wrap this up, Allison, and we're recording this in February of 2023, and we'll see when this drops on my YouTube channel. But any big plans or expansions or any business ventures, so to speak, that you are wanting to do in 2023 or hoping to expand out to?
Yeah. I would like to purchase a couple of investment properties this year.
Okay.
A little tax write-off action.
Sure.
If you're watching IRS, I didn't say that. It's not me.
Oh,
Um,
hold on, I'm mute now. So okay.
yes. uh, and uh, I have a few goals that I'll put out there once I hit them.
All right.
So yeah, we'll see. Keep in touch.
Sounds good. So, and if anyone does want to, reach out to you, maybe in the Memphis area looking for investment property or, first time home buyer, or like I said, just kind of keep in touch and see how you're coming along with your real estate journey. What's the best way to find out what you're doing and reach out to you?
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, both of those. I'm Agent Allison Mim, so that's MEM for Memphis. So
Oh, okay.
Agent, yeah. So either way, I'm pretty active on both sites.
Gotcha. Okay. Sounds good. And I'll have that in the show notes if I can make them in clickable format on YouTube. I'm still working on all those ins and outs, but either way, just find Allison Holden on Facebook and Instagram, or piggyback off of my Instagram. I follow her as well. So, Allison, thanks again for your time, and thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, John. It was fun.